Sup, ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council with the top 10 countdown best boss monsters of all time in this card game. And that's why I see Blue Eyes right now, even though he doesn't make the list. So let's start with In at number 10, we have Slifer the Sky Dragon Legal Edition. Basically, when this guy is summoned, it just can send monsters to the graveyard. And it gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card in your hand. When a monster is normal summon or special summon to your opponent's side of the field, that monster loses 2,000 attack, and if it's reduced to 0, it is destroyed. It is freaking amazing to have on the field. And you can pretty much take out any little mini threats, but again, bad format, so hence why it makes number 10. And at number 9, oddly enough, is Dark Magician to Chaos. The only reason this is higher than Slifer is because it nets you a spell card from the graveyard, and it banishes any monster that it battles with. But battling doesn't seem to happen too often. It just blows stuff up to attack. So that's why Dark Magician to Chaos is at number 9 on this list. In at number 8, we have Obelisk the Tormentor Legal Edition. Requires 3 tributes. A normal summon cannot be normal summon or set. This card's normal summon cannot be negated when this card is normal summon. Cards that effects cannot be activated. Basically, cards and effects cannot be activated, so nothing can activate on the field. It cannot be targeted by spell traps or card effects. During the end phase, if this card is special summon sent to your graveyard, you contribute 2 monsters, destroy all monster your opponent controls, and then this card can't declare attack. Let me just put it to you this way. It's a 4,000 beat stick, and it jumps over dragons with ease. Dragons can't target it. They have a hard time getting over this. Get this out, you pretty much auto-win. Hence why he's at number 8, because he's pretty freaking good. Then we get to everyone's spam favorite Shooting Quasar Dragon. I love this card. This card gains maximum attacks equal to the number of non-tuners used as synchro material. Once per turn, when a card effect is activated, you can negate it. But when this card leaves the field, you get to summon a Shooting Star Dragon from your extra deck. So it basically replaces itself. Super hard to get out, but pretty much this is the end of the super hards to get out, or cards that pretty much would take some setup to get out. Now you're going to see like stuff that just goes, boom, I hit the field in 3 seconds. But that's why Shooting Quasar Dragon makes it on the list at this position. Coming in at number 6 is something I think we'll definitely see a reprint not too long from now, maybe January, February, and the 2.5 edition tin. Why? Is because it's using elemental dragons is a staple in their extra deck. It's needed in 3s, and this thing is the only reason the deck is even like just a monster of a beast. I mean, don't get me wrong, if this thing was not even existent, then elemental dragons would just be giant beast sticks that can summon Big Eye and take your monsters, and they'd be dependent on that. So, put you that way. But with Mecha Phantom Beast in at number 5 is something that dominated about 18 months of this card game, or close to it. If you didn't have Dark Arm, you were crap. There was Return Dad, Teledad, and then Tele Remains, or Twilight. Pretty much, this thing dominated the game. This was the start of real big boss monsters that, well, I couldn't say it was the start. It was the second coming of boss monsters that were a pain in the ass to deal with. And they would come out, destroy everything, and just dominate the field. 2800 beat stick, and then freaking, you could just banish one dark from your graveyard and target one card on the field. This thing gave me headaches for days to come, hence why it makes the list at number 5. And at number 4 is Trishullian. You're probably wondering, why is Trishullian higher than Dark Arm? For those of you who don't know, be thankful. The reason is because when this card synchro summon, you can activate this effect, which is remove one card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard, which doesn't sound like much until you Bryonact out of this or desynchro it, and then just keep abusing it. So basically, let me put it this way. Trishullian comes out, you pretty much have won the game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. At this point in time, when it comes to this game, Trishullian could actually come back and be okay, because what's further on the list. I said it could be okay. I didn't say it would be great. But let's not hope for that. So, for those of you who are also wondering at this point in time, where in the hell is Bryonac? It's not on this list. These cards outshine him in a heartbeat. These cards should be somewhere, like when you think bosses, Bryonac's a mini-boss. Trishullian is a huge freaking boss. It just comes out and dominates the game. So, hence why Trishullian makes the list where she does at number. And at number 3 is one of the 2 boss monsters to dominate what was boss free zone. And the only boss monsters at the time were stuff like Blue Eyes and Summon Skull, Dark Magician. This guy came out and broke the game. Simple as that. We were just like, well, what? This invented chaos. This and its partner. Don't worry, its partner's still coming up. Minor spoiler. But Blacklist Soldier Envoy at the beginning is the pinnacle of a boss monster. You can once return banish a card, but then it can't attack, or you can get a double attack that destroys opponent's monster by battle. Combine this with Honest, you got yourself an OTK. This card is ridiculous. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind having it around. We're not talking about ban lists and stuff. We're talking about boss monsters. When you think of boss monsters, who's the best boss monster? And this guy definitely makes it at number 3. Because he will stay in your mind for a long time to come. And he's a lot easier to bring out than Dark. And at number 2, we're almost done with this list, is Dark Strike Fighter. And I guess you know what number 1 now is, which it deserves it. But the reason Dark Strike Fighter makes it at number 2, even though it doesn't have those boss monstery, I blow stuff up, this thing just, you go turn 1, you automatically win the game pretty much if you can just do enough burn damage, which is, it's not even that hard. Combine this with something like Black Salvo and Demise, you could just auto-win the game in like turn 2. It's a pretty ridiculous card, but if you think about it and you sit down and combine this with E-Dragons, which aren't really that hard, just throw something in that Debris can fetch out, and you could just search Debris because of Tempest, then you could just summon this guy, blow stuff up, Minor Punch, and then just start tripping the dragons off and off and off and off and off, and just keep bringing the dragons back and rinse and repeating. Hence why this guy makes it at number 2. Undeniably one of the best boss monsters. Now, this makes it at number 1, and for those of you who've never seen it been played, stay tuned to the council. We will be doing traditional duels on the live streams. We will be doing traditional duels just like we do Dev Pro duels. Put it to you that way. This guy is going to make his way onto to show you how busted he still is with new support, even without it. This guy is just busted as hell. You think Neuralis is bad, when Neuralis goes off, Neuralis ain't got nothing on this guy. Now, he did have a partner in crime, which was Yata, but that's something totally else for the best little monsters, which will probably be out in June. But this guy right here is probably the pinnacle of boss monsters when you sit down and think, what's the most broken card on the ban list? This guy will be the first thing come to your mind next to Crush Card Virus. But when it comes to boss monsters, it will always be Chaos Emperor Dragon. I cannot sit here all day and tell you how many cards would have to be limited or banned just for this one card to return and be semi-okay for the format without screwing it up, which it still would. Basically, it has the same requirements of a Light Pulsar Dragon for those of you who play Chaos Dragons. Make it easy for those who never knew about this card. You just banish 1 light, 1 dark. It's a 3,000 beat stick, and you pay 1,000 light points to send all cards in both players' hand and the field to the graveyard. Then you inflict 300 for each card sent to your opponent. That's bullshit. This guy is easy to summon. He's the pinnacle of finishers. When you see Mortal Kombat goes, finish him! This is what you see. You see this dragon come out when you play this card game, and that's the equivalent of it. So I'm ready for the Yugioh Council. That's the top 10 countdown. The best boss monsters. What are your best boss monsters? Leave them in the comments below. And make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And if you don't know what Chaos Emperor Dragon is, I feel wonderful for you, because that was a pinnacle of busted and tier 0. Close to it. That was the pinnacle. And don't worry, we're going to cover that soon enough. So, till next time, I'm ready for the Yugioh Council. Enjoy this video. Send to your friends.